Well, hello. My goodness, what are you doing here? Did you know I have a dragon story to share? Oh, I think this little dragon was hoping to listen to my story. Were you hoping to? Well, come here, get the story out. I have the story about Dragon's Halloween, and it's just perfect for this time of year. Dragon's Halloween by Dave Pilkey. It's a chapter book, and there are 3 chapters. Chapter 1. 6 Small Pumpkins. It was October, and all the world was orange and brown. Dragon walked through autumn leaves in search of a giant pumpkin. I will find a pumpkin as big as a house, said Dragon. Oh, what a scary jack-o'-lantern that will make. Later, as Dragon sat carving his small pumpkins, a fox and a crocodile came by. What are you doing? Asked the fox. I'm making scary jack-o'-lanterns, said Dragon. Those pumpkins are too small to be scary, said the fox. Just wait, said the dragon. Dragon took one of the pumpkins and poked branches into its side. Oh, that pumpkin doesn't look good, said the crocodile. No one will be afraid of your silly jack-o'-lanterns. Just wait, said Dragon. Dragon put candles into the pumpkins, and they all lit up orange and bright. Ha ha ha, laughed the fox and the crocodile. We have never seen such funny jack-o'-lanterns in all our lives. Just wait, said Dragon. Finally, Dragon stacked the pumpkins on top of one another until they were very tall. The fox and the crocodile stopped laughing. Oh, their eyes became wide. They began to tremble and shake. Ah! Cried the crocodile. Oh! Wailed the fox. The fox and the crocodile ran through the woods, screaming in terror. What's the matter with them? Said Dragon. Dragon scratched his head and looked up at the jack-o'-lanterns. Ah! Ooh! Ah! Screamed Dragon. Dragon ran into his house and hid under the bed. I did not know that 6 small pumpkins could be so scary, he said. Chapter 2. The Costume Party. To Dragon, you are invited to a Halloween costume party on Halloween night from 7 to 9. Where? Pig's house. It was Halloween night, and Dragon was very excited. He'd been invited to a Halloween costume party. Dragon tried to think of a scary costume to wear. Dragon could not decide whether to be a witch, a vampire, or a mummy. He thought and scratched his big head. One costume would be very scary, said Dragon, but 3 costumes would be very, very, very scary. So Dragon decided to wear all 3 costumes at once. First, Dragon put on the witch's hat and nose. I feel scary already, said Dragon. Next, Dragon put on a vampire's cape and teeth. Dragon could not talk very well through the vampire's teeth in his mouth. Flum, 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 said Dragon. Finally, Dragon wrapped himself up just like a mummy. Dragon hoped his costume would not be too scary. Dragon walked through the woods to the big costume party. Suddenly the wind began to blow. Crash went the lightning, boom went the thunder, and down came the rain. When Dragon finally got to the party, he was soaking wet and his costume was ruined. All the animals began to laugh. Look at Dragon, they cried. Oh, what a silly costume. The animals laughed, and Dragon felt terrible. He walked over to the bench in the corner and sat down next to a big pumpkin. Suddenly, the bench broke, and the pumpkin flipped high into the air, splat! Dragon was very dizzy. He stumbled around the room with the giant, slimy orange pumpkin goop covering him. When the animals saw Dragon, they screamed in terror. Eek! It's a monster! Cried the duck, who jumped into the pig's arms. Oh dear! Cried the pig, who jumped into the hippo's arms. Oh. Help! 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 Cried the hippo, who jumped into the hamster's arms. Finally, Dragon pulled the pumpkin off his head. I'm not a monster, said Dragon. I'm only Dragon. The animals were very relieved and soon felt much better. Well, almost everyone. Oh no! I see the little mouse got sat on by the hippo. Here's the last chapter. This one is called The deep, dark woods. Let's see what happens. The moon was full, and the sky was dark, and the stomach was empty. Dragon was very hungry. He walked home through the spooky forest thinking of good things to eat. Softly the wind began to blow. Woo, that was a very scary sound. The wet leaves beneath Dragon's feet went squish, squish, squish. Well, that was a scarier sound. When Dragon got further into the forest, he heard the scariest sound of all. Grrr, growl, growl. For a moment, everything was silent. Then suddenly, growl. What could that awful noise be? Thought Dragon. Growl, growl. The growling got louder. Growl. Finally, Dragon jumped into the air. Help me, he screamed. It's a monster. High up in the treetop, a light flickered on. What's going on? Shouted a sleepy-eyed squirrel. There's a monster growling, cried Dragon. There's no monster, yelled the squirrel. That's your stomach. Now go home and get something to eat before you wake up the whole forest, cried the angry squirrel. Dragon held his stomach. It rumbled and growled. He felt very silly. At once, the forest was dark again. Now, Dragon was too hungry to be afraid. He ran and ran all the way home. When Dragon got home, he cooked up a giant Halloween feast. He made pumpkin pies, pumpkin soup, pumpkin bread, pumpkin pizza, and pumpkin ice cream sundaes. Then Dragon ate and ate and ate until he was as round as a pumpkin. The end.